Good morning, everybody, or good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to First Friday. I have so much to do in so many different areas today that it's a little overwhelming. I've started a list, but yeah, there's just a lot going on. So I'm glad I have this stream today to have you help me concentrate. I went out early as I do every Friday that I'm here. Oh, there's honking going on. And it's a Tesla, of course. And got bakery goodies. So those are stashed away for lunch after I finish my productivity stream. But I also got a fun little caramel chai on my way back. So we're in business. So hello, howdy. My name is Margaret Pinard. I'm a historical fiction author and eclectic reader coming to you from California today, last month, and hoping to get a lot of stuff done in this 2 hours. So how about you? Where are you coming from? And what are you going to work on? Let me know. We had a cat paw in the comments early saying they need a big push to get going today. And so I sent them a bunch of which I don't know. Hopefully that's the wind behind your back, right? Yeah. And I just was a little freaking out about all the stuff I have to do today. But like button, hey Jim, how's it going? Oh, see, okay, you can't decide either. Or I should say again, what should I read? Cryptonomicon, Farewell to Arms, Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. Yeah, we could do a video on how to choose what you do next because you can do a survey. You can do whichever you're closest to finishing. You could do whichever is soonest to go back to the library, or, the readathon is ending, so it's more urgent. There's a lot of different ways to decide, and it's constantly rotating for me. I just got another notice that a book is up for a hold, and I had to write the librarians and say, can you hold it 2 more days for me? Because I can't get back before it will go away. That would be very sad. I'd have to get back in the line again. Cat Paw says, Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I haven't read it, but I rec the title. Recognize, I think, instead of recommend, because if you haven't read it. Yeah, Becky Chambers. I've heard great things. Haven't read any of hers yet. They're kind of like Shannon Maguire, small, hardcover only novella kind of things, but a long series. So solid fans. Yeah, it's a good option. Cozy sci-fi. All right. So Jim's going to be reading. I'm going to start out writing some checks for the rentals. I've got postcards to patrons to mail. I've got magazine work to do, both tent poles and like images and Canva. I got emails. Oh, and the thing that I want your help with, because I don't want to do it, but I have to, is so I had someone look at the website and try to get it up to snuff. And I don't have privacy practices and terms and conditions and a way to email and all that. So I did one chunk a couple days ago and then let it sit. And I need to do the privacy practices and terms and conditions boilerplate stuff, and get that ready for the website person to upload somehow as a little menu, as a pop-up, so that I can actually direct people to my website and not say, no, don't go there. It's not very professional. So anyway, no question of the day today. We're going to dive right in. So let's see. We're going to start at 5 after and go for 25 minutes. That'll be until halfway through. So again, lots to do. Feel free to contribute what you're working on. And we'll meet in 25 minutes. And if you have something that you're going to be doing soon or that you are just putting out, feel free to put a link in the chat, so people can visit it, because I'll have a little announcements piece at the halfway mark, at the hour mark. If I remember, you help me remember. Okay, So I think we're good, and I will mute myself and see you in 25 minutes. I did not make it. Okay, that was our first 25 minutes sprint. How do we do? I was trying to figure out what was happening in the other room. So I'm here in the front office with the lovely plants behind me. There's a landing and a staircase right there, which if you saw the previous streams here, you would know there's a newel post right next to me. There's a door, and then there's the sitting room, if you want to call it that. And that's where the dogs like to hang out with my mom. But it's also where she types on her computer. And I was like, is that the typing noise on a keyboard? Or is that a dog trying to scratch while it has a cone around its head? And so I went, is that a dog? Nothing happened. And then I said, Molly. And she stopped. And then she started barking. So I think I found the answer to my mystery. Okay, so I worked on some Canva images, and then I wrote some checks, 3 out of 4. Still got 1 to go because I have to get an amount out of my email. So all this stuff, there's like 7 little piles of stuff here. Like I said, it's a little overwhelming today. There's stuff to do in all of the jobs and in multiple things. So I'm going to catch up on the chat, have a little break, clear the cobwebs. I starred the last comment where we left off. So that was Cat Paw. I read the first Shannon Maguire last month, Rosemary and Rye, and was surprised how much I enjoyed it. Excellent. Yeah, it's supposed to be like it tackles some pretty heavy things, but like sci-fi that is really interesting and different. That's what I have as an impression. Yeah. Jim says, glad you enjoyed it. Elaine came in. Cobalt Dragon, hello, hello. Jim is on page 151 of 508. Okay, so that's not a short book. Why am I thinking it's a short book? They can't have 500 pages in those thin books that I've seen. Maybe we're talking about different editions. Elaine says, editing the Keening versus Akatar video. Not sure what date will be up. No bother. Nay bother, as they say. Jim said, Keening versus Akatar, very different beasts. Agreed. Leslie popped in to say hello at the office, so can't stay, but have fun. Very much appreciated. He said hi. Bookish came in. Hello, Brian. Hello, hello. Are you moving? How's it going? You were talking about moving in your last stream that I listened to, so maybe it's begun. We've got Enadia Iran. Hello. Thank you for the sprints jumping in. You're very welcome. We just had our first one, so just catching up, taking a breath in between. We've got Emma in the house. Emma Bennett. Hello, hello. I really liked Emma's recent response video to the LibGen piracy website being used by Facebook and the response in the UK. Hey, someone has a response. Organized, ability to organize. That's impressive. I don't have the ability to organize right now for author business stuff. So maybe they'll show us the way. Jim said he got up to page 161 of Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. They are in some big space market before they go on their mission to the core. Well, yeah, like everyone who played Oregon Trail knows, you have to get your supplies before you set out on a big journey. That was fun. Oh, okay. Brian says, just at the trying to sell our house point. Ugh, the juggling. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, of course. I was trying to catch up. Of course, I do like sort of swoops and I do 10 videos at a time. And I was trying to catch up yesterday, had a bit of time in the afternoon and watched Dave and Gareth's live stream while I was combing through my subscriptions. And they were talking about Dave's latest video, which was about Jason. Why can't I remember it now? I've read the book, but I read it like 4 years ago, and it was on How Fascism Works. Jason Stanley, that's it. And so I haven't watched it yet, but I did go and put it on my to watch list. So everyone was saying how much it was well done and well needed, and as Gareth would say, well good. So I'm gonna keep working on my stuff. After this next 25-minute sprint, we'll have another little catch up, and I'll ask for announcements. So if anyone has something going on or that you want us to join in on, feel free to drop a link or describe date and time, what it's about. We'd love to help participate and have fun. And, today we get to participate, have fun, and get shit done. So that's the triple crown in productivity streams, in case anyone was wondering. Yeah. Elaine says, I put Dave's video in my community post. Need to watch it. So you passed it on without watching it first. Ooh. All right, that's fine. Yeah, so I've got my list of to-dos, which I started on. I've got all my stack of postcards to choose from for my patrons. I've got my address book to get ready, which is cute. Hebridean Mary Hedwick, if anyone knows that illustrator. I like her stuff, so I got an address book of hers last time I was there. And the checkbook in front of me. So I got one of those left to do, and lots of stuff on the computer. So if you are participating in the next sprint, feel free to drop what you're doing in the comments so we can follow up with you and say well done. And yeah, I think we'll just jump back in the next minute. Oh, right. You said you teared up at the end. People need to watch. No, I watched it already. Okay. Hi, Barrett. Nice to see your face here. We're sprinting. I want to do this in a funny, we're writing checks. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to set up my banner here with the number, which would be 47, 57, hour plus 2, 25 minutes. I can do the math. Creatives can do the math. Here we go. So 25-minute sprint. I'll mute myself. See you soon. I went over my limit. I finished all reviews of the day. Yay! Okay. All right. How'd you guys do? Don't forget, hydrate. I'm reminding myself. How far did you get? Social media. I have not gotten to the website stuff that I don't want to do yet. So feel free to poke me. Okay. Did I finish everything? Nope. I need to gray it out. Don't want to forget right in the middle of a task. Gray it out and say done. Okay. Now I feel yay. How did we do? Yeah, I just went to get the envelopes and I don't know if you could see the vintage 1994 stone pattern on the side of the envelopes there. I want to use it up and get it out of the house. Buy a new paper. Hey, Devin. Miss Doubtfire voice. Hello. Tell immediately what you meant. Welcome. We have an Eloise. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy first Friday of May when I do a sprint for everybody. Monique is here. Mojo says, popping in to say, hey, getting ready for the flight this morning. It's here. Well done, you. All right. Hydrate, protect yourself, take care, safe travels. Jim says is on page 175, hydrating with mint and fennel tea. Ooh, that sounds delightful. You know, I was just listening. I said I went to the bakery as I do most Fridays when I'm here, the one that's out at the coast, and it's 10 miles away. They have the best stuff. But I'm listening to an audiobook and I lost my headphones for a month. I couldn't remember where I put them. Just found them. So I'm listening to the audiobook again, and it's called Herbs Plain and Simple by, and I love this name, Jekka McVicker. So if you're in the UK, you may have heard of her name before. She's done BBC programming about gardening. And she's talking about herbs, both what they look like, what she does with them, how they grow, how they're related, and it's delightful. And she just went through the lily family and talked about some of those. Fennel is in the umbelliferae family, and I'm forgetting what it's called. It's not lily. Is it aster? Carrot family is what she called it. And she did cabbage, and she was with some famous chef. It's very good. So like I love hearing about this. Whenever I've tried these herbal remedies, they always feel like they do nothing. So I will, of course, give it another go because I want it to work. But if I want it to work and it's supposed to work and it still shows no result, I'm a little disappointed. So we'll see. Cat Paw says, cats fed repaired a top that got ripped in the wash. Ugh, not a single word. Why is it so hard? I wish I could just crank out those last 3 chapters and be done. Oh, you haven't gotten a single word down. I see what you mean. I thought you meant maybe someone else ripped it in the wash and they didn't apologize, which is so very American. But yeah, no words. Why is it hard? Oh, well, shrug it off. You've got at least 1 sprint more, maybe 2, and maybe it'll feel different. I don't know. Spritz, maybe get some mint and funnel and spritz it. It feels like starting new to me. Elaine says 10 more minutes to trim down, then 1 more listen to decide if ready. Okay, so Elaine's doing the video editing. Excellent. Well done. Oh my goodness. Jim says, I haven't flown since 2018. Wow, that's 7 years. That's a long time for someone who's so international. Do you feel an itch? Do you feel a craving? Or are you just glad you don't have to deal with it anymore? The funny thing is that all the security rigmarole changes so much, you'd probably be like, oh my gosh, what is this? 1 second. Okay. Elaine says she's got plain coffee in her fluent in sarcasm mug. Oh, is that how you're hydrating? Well, did you get your cheesecake last night? One of the special things I get at this bakery out at the coast is they do toasts, which are not just toast. They're like bread fried in oil, and then they've got salmon and cream cheese and capers and pickled red onions, and like everything goes together so beautifully. Just like party in your mouth. Good stuff. So my mom likes those, and it's a good way to celebrate Friday. Cat Paw says, I got Marble Hall Murders by Anthony Horowitz, a third in the Magpie Murders trilogy, and it's a delight with snark. Excellent. He was just on Crime Time on A Mighty Blaze. Hank Philippi Ryan is the host, and that's what I do on Tuesdays. I produce backstage for her, and I didn't do the one with Anthony Horowitz this time. I did the one with the gal after. Who's a Midwesterner who has a non-Midwestern sounding name, and she's very goth. I thought she was really fun. But yeah, if you wanted to see a Mighty Blaze interview with Anthony Horowitz, it was last Tuesday. Mojo says, I always have the itch to fly. 2 more plans for this year. Yeah, that's cool. I just get a little nervous with how weird people are these days. The lack of trust. Maybe you've got a like more trust meter. But yeah, and just the hassle of the security stuff. It just seems to get worse. Yep. Chocolate swirl cheesecake. Ooh, I love it. The other fun thing is the other fun toast besides the salmon one is a Turkish egg, which means they use labne, which is like a sort of a cream cheese with a little punch of yogurt. And they have perfectly hard-boiled eggs, and they've got, it's not za'atar, it's some kind of pepper, maybe Aleppo pepper or something sprinkled on, and one more thing. But yeah, they've crafted these like little open-faced toasted sandwiches so well, so they're a delight. But chocolate cheesecake, can't go wrong. All right, so we got video editing, we've got reading, we've got mending. I love this. We've got lots of different stuff going on, which is great. I finished the checks. I finished the social media posts that I had to catch up on. So I get to check those off. Not the tent poles, but the catch up. Should I do the tent poles first, or should I do my website crap? Mojo says, I'm a Capricorn. I don't trust anyone. With as much as I fly, you'd think they'd stop putting SSSS on my boarding passes? What does that mean? Search or something? I don't know what that means. Oh. I'm a Capricorn. Elaine says, I haven't been on a plane since I was 17. I'm now 61. Oh my gosh. Can't drive there, not happening. Wow. What about a boat, Elaine? What about a nice little sailboat or a cruise boat? That's where I want to travel. Ugh, extra searches, bastards. I feel for you. That's lame. Yeah, I thought Elaine was also a Capricorn, so she was going to chime in. Totally agree about trust. Oh man. All right. Well, I think I'm going to give my website crap a try in the next sprint. But since this is this point, we might only have minutes. I'm going to do this little banner and invite anyone, if they have announcements to share, to pop them in the chat. It's the first Friday of the month. I've got a stream on Sunday. I did finally connect with Victoria. So my TRC, my Truth and Reconciliation for the Climate stream, will be in the second half of the month. She'll tell me which Sunday in a bit, but first 2 Sundays are up to me. So I think I will be doing a bunch of tags for the first one because I have a bunch to catch up on. So I usually am here Sundays and Wednesdays for bookish content, and this Sunday will be double tag, triple tag. We'll see how many I can squish in together on my live stream. But yeah, this week has been very smashed full of repairs and stuff for the rentals. So yeah, we'll get back into the tags and do some research, and it'll be tremendous. Let's see. I don't drive or fly, doing my bit for the climate. Yep. Jim puts up metro videos when he's down in the Georgian metro, which is fun. No boats, oceans are for sea life. Okay. True, true. But they're pretty big. They're pretty big. You just need to choose the right boat, I think. Mojo says going on a cruise in January for my 62nd birthday. Oh my gosh. Wow. You do not look 62, Mojo. You're doing something right. That's amazing. And yay, I hope you have a good celebration. I hope it's really fun and relaxing. Dee Dee's here. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello. We are 2 sprints down. I think 1 long one to go. So I was just asking if anyone had announcements to share. Exactly. Not sure which one that was about. But yeah. Enjoy the cruise. Funny we're the same age. Yeah. Clean living. Clean living. I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, if no one has any announcements, I'm going to set up the next banner and we'll go like 35, if that's okay, for a long last sprint. So if we start at 15, 30 would be 45, so 50. All right, so we'll end up at 50. Boop, 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 boop. And there we go. Woohoo! All right, so Mojo's got a latest pre-order up. Rose May Cooper. Ooh, another pen name. Baby, specializing in billionaire romance. Nice. It sounds like a play on the boxing term. Baby, who knows? There probably will be all the information you want if you're a romance fan down at that link. So check it out. Okay, so quarter after, we'll work for 35 minutes, a little bit more, and we'll see you back then to see how you did. Have fun working, everybody. Okay. That was our last sprint, our long sprint. How'd you do? How did you do? So I actually got the thing I really didn't want to do, but you guys helped me. So thank you. I have resistance around doing things that I don't think should be done. So, however, I live in a world where they're necessary to, I don't know, create a protective coating around your creative efforts. So, when I talked to the website designer, I said I needed X, Y, and Z to be secure so that if people wanted to buy a book on the website, which I do want to have available at some point, direct sales are the way to go, right? If you have an audience. You have to have privacy practices. You have to have terms and conditions to comply with the European digital rights thing, GDPR. You have to have blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't want to learn a whole new language. So I'm trying to comply and do the minimum and just get it out there and up so that I can keep going and actually have a working shopping cart. So fingers crossed, I'm like 3/4 of the way through. I did the privacy practices read through and sent them to him with my adaptations. And then I'm going to do the terms and conditions. I did my version through a website, and then I'm going to have to read through it before I send it to him. But like, if I could just get this working again and like make one sale, like that would make my year. So that would make my year. That would be pretty cool. So I worked on that today, and every tiny little step. After I did that, I then looked at postcards. You saw me like grinning over postcards because I'm looking at like, what do I want to send? Where's this? Anyone guess? Mystery postcard. It's a hard one. But yeah, so getting ready to write out my patron postcards for the beginning of the month. $5 benefit. If you are curious and you want bookish mail, which is just me sending you a lovely vintage postcard from previous travels or fun little shops that I find, then you can check out here. Patreon_MP4 is my bit.ly link for my Patreon. And it helps support the channel. So you all already do that by being lovely and reading my books. I really appreciate that. If you want to read the blog posts, see the photos, get the mail, then you can sign up and sign on. All right, so that's out of the way. What do we have left for our last 5 minutes here? Let's see. Jim dropped us a quote here. Humans do look like larger bipedal versions of the hairless primates that plague the sewer systems of Quailid cities. I think that's a quote from Long Way to a Angry Planet. There's a word I'm missing in there, an adjective. But why does Quailin sound familiar? Sounds like Star Wars, but I don't know. And that was me celebrating. Devin came back, said, okay, back from picking up the kiddo, now to start laundry while the hub starts chicken fajitas. Yum. See, working as a team. It's the dream. It's the dream team. That sounds great. Elaine says, on the final listen through, so should be up Monday. Woohoo! Off your plate. Excellent. I can't wait to see this. This is going to be so fun. All right. So even though it was 35 minutes, which is longer than usual, Mojo said, that was quick. Just need to feed the cats and I can call it a night. Excellent. Way to go. All the privacy practice was so fun. Not. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the legal mumbo jumbo. It's just bleh. Elaine says Japan. Oh, you're guessing. Well, that's closer than I thought. Yeah, it's in the neighborhood. Anyone else? Jim is logging progress. He got up to page 180 of The Long Way. Excellent. And switched to Cryptonomicon, where I am now on page 190 of 910, which is a anagram, which is kind of fun. Oh, Elaine says, sweetie, I just went crazy on book shopping therapy. Gotta behave for a bit. Yeah. Well, I will give the answer. It's the Philippines. So my mom actually brought back postcards from the Philippines, and they're totally vintage. They're from 1968. So some of those are pretty cool, and I'm sending them out to people. Fun, fun, fun. Ooh, Kappa says, finally got into the what's it process. Words. What are words even? Well, I'll interpret that to mean on my end that you got a little progress, which is excellent. I'm happy to hear it. One of the things I was waiting to jump up at was so when I go out to the bakery, I drive my car and I come back and I don't know if I'll have the same parking spot right in front of the house. And usually I do, but today some chump came in, swooped in, and got my parking spot. So I parked just behind, which is great. And I just watch to see when they leave. And then I jump out, even if I'm in slippers, and I drive like 3 car lengths to take my spot and like live there. So it's silly. It's silly, but that's what happens when you have a tiny driveway and nowhere else to park. You live right downtown. So anyway, hope that was entertaining. This is why the keys are right here. All right. Well, that is us for today, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to send my mail, to write my postcards, to put up another photo post on the Patreon, and select my tags for Sunday. So if you are watching this on the replay or, just want to help me choose the tags, you can drop a suggestion in the comments below. That might help. I'm going to try to work on all of them and be ready and then see which ones go together and fit and plunk those down on Sunday. So, yay. So thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope it was helpful. I hope you feel a little better in your skin about the work you're working on. And don't forget to hydrate, to move and stretch if you're able. I keep needing to do this tweak thing to unravel my rhomboids. So check in with your body, check in with yourself, and take care, everybody. Safe travels, Mojo, and happy reading, everybody else. Bye.